Daily Thought with Natalie Brathwaite. So the thought today is about crossing the thresholds, going beyond barriers, and coming out of the womb through the birthing canal. What does the three have in common? The thresholds. Thresholds are something that, as the dictionary will term it, it's something that is on the floor, a piece of wood, a point that is on the floor that we cross over into a home or into a room. It is also called the beginning of a runway at an airport. It's a point, it's an entry point. It is also described as the magnitude or the intensity that must be exceeded before certain reaction or a manifestation of something happens. A barrier, however, while it is also a point, while it's also a location, while it is also a position, it's much bigger than a threshold. A threshold could be just but a spot that is overlooked, but a barrier cannot be overlooked because it is usually big. But dare I say that the both things, whether it's a threshold or it's a barrier, it's a point, it's a location. I dare to ask you, what position do you have fixed in place as your threshold, as your barrier, and needs to be crossed over? In the Bible, the threshold was guarded. The threshold of the temple was guarded. It was guarded by the Levites. Who is guarding your threshold? The thresholds of your mind, the thresholds of your soul. Who is guarding the threshold? I dare ask you today to allow the Holy Spirit to guard the thresholds of your minds, of your bodies. Are we even seeing the significance of that threshold that keeps our peace, that keeps our joy, that keeps our salvation intact? Because it's just but a point that moves from one stage of righteousness to sinfulness. There's just but a threshold that moves from one stage of peace to unrest. There is just one point that moves us from sanity to insanity. There is just one point. Are we realizing the significance of allowing people and things and situations to cross that threshold in our lives? Let us be mindful of the people that we allow to cross over those thresholds of our lives. Let us be mindful of the situations that we allow to cross the thresholds of our minds and of our souls. Let us be very, very mindful of that. Threshold, though it might be a spot, though it might be a point that we stomp on each day and overlook each day, let us be mindful that that little spot is very important to the trajectory of our lives, to our salvation. It makes a difference between righteousness and sinfulness. It makes a difference between peace and war. I pray that this nugget today, that you'll take it into your day and go out into the world and live a transformed life.